Well, hey everyone. I'm live now. At least I think I am. And I'd like to welcome you to the non-Photostock version of Studio Visits with Bill. I am the guest tonight, and any of you that are here and amongst us, hey there everybody, anybody that's amongst us that is part of this, it's been part of this in the past, is welcome to join me at some point here. Sorry, I had to drop my glasses there. I am looking to see who's here. Baba, hi Baba. Mark O'Brien, Mike O'Brien, Jamie, Tom Smith, hey all of you, it's good to see you. I wish you were all here. Marianne, Mackenzie, hi Mackenzie, hope your leg's doing fine. Anyway, can you guys hear me? I'm not sure, I gotta take these AirPods out because I don't really know why I need them. All right, hopefully you can hear me. Anyway, welcome to the Photostock version. For those of you that don't know what Photostock is, it's a little event I've been running up here in northern Michigan for the last, how many years? 2006 was the first one, and then we skipped one when I took off with Shelby Lee Adams for a part of a summer, and some people that were part of the whole community did Rogue Stock that year. So there have been people gathering every year since 2006, and unfortunately, this is the first year that we're not due to the COVID epidemic. But, you know, we're going to make the best of it. Today would have been the day it officially started with the first workshop. That would have been Jill Enfield here, and I don't know whether Jill's on, but hi, Jill. Jill was my guest a couple of weeks ago, and before I get into more of this, I'd like to thank everybody that's been watching these. It's been a lot of fun, and I'd like to thank for the encouragement that some friends have given me when I kind of thought that I wasn't going to do it. And anyway, before I get on, in Photostock tradition here, I'm cracking open a Michigan beer. This is unfortunately not an Oberon, which is my usual drug of choice this time of year, but this is another one from the same brewery, Bell's Brewery, Two-Hearted Ale, from the Two-Hearted River, not north of here, made famous in the Ernest Hemingway novel. So anyway, here's to you all. That's good. It's a warm day up here, and that really hits the spot. Anyway, so where was I? About Photostock and about thanking you all for being here and watching along. This is really great to have you do this every week, and it's been really fun, actually. This is my 4th episode, and I don't know, it's really cool. It's getting a lot of attention. A lot of people have written to me about it, and we've got some really cool guests coming up that I will tell you about. You know, eventually we're going to have Christina Z. Anderson on here, but I'm waiting for her digital negative book to come out first. We'll do that then. And somebody that I was going to have on here next week, but now it's going to be the week after, June 22nd. The incredible Mr. Dan Burkholder is going to be joining us. So I got a feeling that might be a bit of a hoot. I'm sure that Dan is very adept at all of this Instagram stuff, because you all know who Dan is. I mean, now I kind of talk about when I'm doing a picture on my iPhone and I'm doing some work on it, I call it Dan Burkholdering the shit out of it. So anyway, it's just become a little bit of a thing. So anyway, and I'd like to thank you for that. And also, you know, this is going to be repurposed on YouTube as long as I can capture it afterward. And if I do that, and if you're seeing this on YouTube, it'd be really great if you give me a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the channel. I'm pretty amazed at how many people are picking up on that now, and how many people are watching it. I mean, I wake up every morning and I check the hours that have been watched, and people are watching like 15 or 20 hours of this stuff a night. So I'm really glad, and I'm hoping it's helping, and I will be doing more of those as well. Yeah, with that, I'm just going to get on to the whole Photostock thing. You know, what I want to do is talk about the whole event and how it began. And I mean, I know a lot of you come to it. There's only a few of you that were at the first one. I don't think it'll be like Woodstock in the future where everybody's going to claim they were at the first one, because I think there are only 13 of us, if that, at the first one. And some of those I'm looking for tonight to see if they're on here. Jamie Young, who's on here tonight, has been coming ever since the very beginning practically, and he brings his circuit camera and has done some beautiful photographs of the whole group. That one of them is up above inside here. I'm in front of the workshop right now. One of them is up above the door in the workshop from the grand opening of this workshop, which was in 2015, I believe. Anyway, so but anyway, that first year we had you know, we had Jerry Bazaraby was there, and Joe Smigel, and John Simmons, and a guy named Mark Shirk, who I haven't seen in quite some time, and Mark Severson, Daniel Lynn, how could I forget Daniel? And anybody else that I might be forgetting, please somebody pop up here and let me see who it was, because if I'm forgetting you, it's not because we don't love you. Wow, I'm just looking through to see those. So anyway, we did that the first year was 2006, and the way that it all started was a lot of us were members of an online resource at that time, a forum, way before Facebook. This was back in 2002, I think I joined that, and it was called APUG, Analog Photographers Users Group. And what happened is a lot of us who were really into the analog processes and things started feeling like digital was taking over, and we were losing control of everything. And so we all banded together in this site that Sean Ross, who lives in New Zealand, started up. He's an expat American who lives down in New Zealand. I think he's from North Carolina originally. But Sean started up APUG, and he invited a bunch of people to join. And before we knew it, there were thousands of members, and it became a really great resource for anything. You know, I mean, that's where I found out about a lot of the things that I work today. And I met people like Carrick. Well, I knew Carrick before, and Clay Harmon, and I don't know, it's just, there were a lot of people, probably a lot of people who are on here right now. Hi, Mark. A lot of these people who are on here right now were part of APUG. And anyway, what I did with APUG was, Mark, you guys, I'm going to get you guys on here. I can see people requesting to get on live, and I will get you on here pretty soon. I'll try to get through this pretty quick. But anyway, so there was APUG, and I made this post on APUG. I had this 10 acres of property that was here, and at the time I just had a little cabin, which is right over there, a little A-frame cabin that I had built in 1996. And so I invited people online. I just kind of made an open call for people to come to visit and just kind of bring your photographs and talk about photos and you know, bring a sleeping bag, a tent, that kind of a thing. Because you know, I told them all I had was an outhouse, and we'd have to make do with that. And lo and behold, you know, people showed up, and it was really great. And I can still remember the next morning, one more person came who had come in the middle of the night. It was Daniel Lynn, who was sleeping in his car up on the road, afraid to come in and wake people up. He's such a nice guy. Anyway, I hope that Daniel will make it on here, and anybody that knows Daniel knows what I'm talking about. But anyway, so we had a really great weekend, and we had some loose prints, and Joe Smigel had brought along his wet plate gear, and he brought along a model, and he was shooting the model, and we were seeing how wet plate worked, and it was really cool. It was really a good time. And so anyway, once that was done, Dan Henderson, how could I forget? Dan Henderson was at this event, and Dan is the one that coined the name Photostock, because we were all sitting around talking and drinking a beer, and Dan says, this is just like Woodstock for photographers, and it just, bing, the light went off in my head, and it's been Photostock ever since. So anyway, 2006 was the first year. You know, there wasn't anything special about it, but I put out the call for the next year, and the thing is like a lot of things on the internet, the next year it just kind of exploded. You know, exploded in terms of up here. You know, we had, you know, 5, 6, 7 times the amount of people had come up, and you know, it was really something. And I could see that my glasses again. I could see that this hit a nerve, and that people enjoyed it. And you know, I envisioned it in the very beginning that it would be a place where eventually I could invite a lot of photographers to come, you know, well-known people as well as just beginning people, you know, and kind of have it kind of a check your ego at the door kind of event. So we're all just sort of equals, and have a really good time of it. And it just grew into that. And you know, it was a lot of fun. It became a lot of work. We didn't start having guests until later on, after I moved it. What happened was it just got a little bit too big for my property here, and it got to the point where there were people who I really didn't know were showing up, and it got kind of weird, because it was, you know, some of you might remember that it was a free event at that time, and people were just kind of showing up for the party, and you know, and I was getting weird calls at like 5 a.m. asking me where it was, and you know, and I had people kind of getting upset with me about the fact that, you know, there was no program and there was nothing, and it just kind of made me feel like, really, you know. So anyway, then I stepped up the game after a while, and we moved it down to this little hotel that many of you are familiar with called the Birchwood down on 119 up here, the Tunnel of Trees, and that's when I started having guests, you know. And we started off with small things, like I can remember earlier on, and forgive me for not knowing the chronology of all this, but early on I had Cynthia Becker, who's a good friend, and she's a big collector of 19th century photography, early photography, card imagery, and things like that. But she also collects 19th century pornography, which was a lot of fun. And we decided to have kind of the loosey-goosey version of Photostock one year. And she did her talk on 19th century pornography, and I think maybe a little bit of Controlled Substances might have come out that night for the first time as well, and maybe let's see. We ran the movie Becker, the John Waters film Becker that weekend, so it was kind of like a little bit of a weird time, but we had a really good time, and then it just started growing from there. Then in subsequent years, I started charging some money to come to it because it was taking a bit of a hit on me financially and time-wise. I put a lot of time into it, and so I think Shelby Lee Adams was the first big-time guest that we had up here, and that was in 2009. And Shelby was great. He was a really great guy to have around, and he did a talk. He was kind of at that time, I don't know any of you that remember, he was sort of preoccupied with the fact that he was being kind of dragged over the coals for exploiting, the hill people and things like that, and which is another interesting story I could tell you because Shelby is this guy who's just very innocent and very perceptive. And I went down to visit with him the year after he was here. He invited me to come down with a wet plate trailer to photograph some of his subjects, as he called them, his people. And I found wonderful people and it was just quite an amazing thing. But anyway, I just kind of, it took me off in that direction, and that was with Shelby. And then later on, we had Andrew Moore one year. I remember, this is going to be a funny story, and I don't know if Andrew ever sees this, but at the time, I don't know if any of you remember Andrew Moore's Detroit Demolished book. And, I wasn't a big fan of the whole ruin thing in Detroit, the whole ruin porn, as we called it, kind of thing in Detroit, because I was always showing Detroit as I wanted to see it, as I thought the world should see it, not as this series of dilapidated buildings and things. But Andrew had done this book, and I don't know, I was on this trip. I was on a trip, one of my Iceland trips, and one of my people there was talking about Andrew Moore a lot, and he was taking me to task on this, and I was saying, well, you really don't know Detroit because you've never been there, and well, it's like this because I saw it in Andrew Moore's photographs, which kind of proved my point. But anyway, long story short, I come back from this Iceland trip, and it's in the spring, and I'm starting to gear up for Photostock, and I look on APUG, where this all began, and I see I can't remember who it was, maybe Silke's, maybe Daniel. Anyway, there's mention that Andrew Moore's heard about Photostock, and he's going to be in Grand Rapids giving a presentation at the museum, and he's going to be coming up to Photostock. And I thought, oh my gosh, just when I don't want to hear about Andrew Moore anymore, he's going to come visit. So that was cool. Andrew came up here, and he stayed, and we ended up becoming really great friends. He's a really great guy, and, it was just really, really a good time, and the really kind of one of the magical things that happens at Photostock. And I think that a lot of you that have been here before probably realize that there is kind of this weird X factor of Photostock that you just never really knows what's going to happen. Because as I was saying before, people will often, in the beginning they were saying they needed a schedule of some sort, and that's how the schedule started to begin, was because at first I just sort of said the schedule was for people who needed schedules and stuff. But Photostock really has been this kind of Woodstock, Photostock kind of a thing all along, where it's kind of loose, and we try to make it on time when it says on the schedule. It doesn't always work out that way, and often I'm not terribly prepared for it in certain ways because it does tend to be a one-man band. I do this pretty much all myself, and anyway, so it just started to take a big load on me, and what happened was the year that I had, and people that are here are going to remember this. Carrick, of course, is on here, and we'll talk about it a little bit in a minute. I'll shut up. And we, this one year my back blew out. I had a notoriously bad back, which I've since had surgery for after that year. And here it is, Photostock. I've got Shelby Lee Adams here, and, there's more people than ever, and it's just kind of a crazy time. And my back blew out horribly. And I was running a workshop with Joe Smigel at the time, and he and I kind of had a falling out over that at that time because I was just crazy in pain, and it was just kind of hard to try to keep up with the thing. And anyway, David Eisenlord, eventually had to drive me to the hospital, and and this was the night that Shelby Lee was going to be talking at the art center that I had rented out for everybody and locals to come, and there was ads in the newspapers and everything, and I can't even move. So Ike takes me to the hospital to try to do something for me, and they take me in an emergency, and they pump me up full of Dilaudid. I don't remember much of what happened after that, but I have seen photographs, and I did function okay. I might have cried during the presentation or something like that, but whatever. So that was it. It was starting to really take its toll on me that year, and that's why I ended up taking the year off after that and going and hanging out with Shelby. But anyway, as I said, some of the wonderful people who are part of the whole event got together, and they put together Rogue Stock that year, and they kind of did their own thing up here. And I know people still showed up, and they had a good time. It's just I was down in Kentucky hanging out with with Shelby at the time. And anyway, so that was it. It just started to grow from there. And then finally I skipped it a year thinking I wasn't going to do it, but then I had to get back to it, and I got back. And then since then we've had some great guests. We've had Holly Roberts here for workshops. We've had Dan Burkholder, we've had Kara Kuklis, we've had Clay Harmon, Mike Robinson with daguerreotypes, and it's just gone on and on. And actually also what grew out of that is the porch that I'm actually sitting on, is that I always wanted to have workshops surrounding the event, and we really couldn't do things down at the Birchwood. So what I conceived of was a what do you call it? A Kickstarter. We did a Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter was unbelievable. It just took off like crazy. And, I raised enough money to build this building, which was really, a testament to you guys, to the community out there. There was, I think, 411 people donated. We ended up raising over $40,000 for that at the time. And it ended up upping the ante. Made a nice building for it, which Clay Lipsky. Yeah, Clay Lipsky's been part of this. Anyway, and Polly Chandler, yes. Oh, gosh, thank you so much. So many people have been here. Thank you guys for doing that. But anyway, so we built this building, and it was crazy. It worked, and this was going to be the place that Photostock was going to be based as far as workshops and things. And since then, it has done that. It's been a little bit slower in the uptake just because, life has gotten a little bit complicated, and photography has kind of gotten a little more complicated and things like that. But it lives here. And so I finished it out and put all the money into it. We got it to the point where it wasn't quite finished yet. So a year later, I conceived of the kick finisher, a kick ender. And we actually, God, lo and behold, raised another bunch of cash to actually finish it off on the inside and to get some equipment. And people were wonderful in donating their equipment. And I don't know, you guys, it's like scenes from Bill's life. It's just amazing, and scenes from all of your lives. We've had a really good time with this, and it really has built something. I'm sitting on the porch of what Photostock built. And not only that is the great community of which a lot of you are part. And oh yeah, Mark Citrit, holy crap. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm losing it, and you guys are talking amongst yourselves, and this is cool. But anyway, so it's just continued to grow, and I want to continue to grow it. And as a matter of fact, as many of you know, this year it was supposed to be moving from the Birchwood, which it was really a hard decision to do that because they've been such wonderful people to us. And those of you that know the Birchwood, it's kind of like a Brady Bunch kind of a house or a building. It was built in the early 60s, and it's kind of, it's a little rough around the edges, and it's really a cool place. And they allowed us to do anything we wanted to there. And, we basically filled them for a week every year for the last few years, and I felt terrible about pulling it away from there. But our presentation space wasn't that great. We really needed to up it a little bit, and so I had moved it over to Boyne Highlands, which is not too far from here, the ski resort, and we were all set to start here in a couple days. The 11th to the 14th was going to be the official event, with Jill's workshop prior to that, and but guests this year were to include Larry Fink and Jill Enfield and Beth Yarnell Edwards and a guy from Montreal, René Balduc, and just an amazing amount of work had gone into it already. And then it just kind of, the bottom fell out of it with COVID. And I saw it coming, and even before, when everything shut down, I could almost see the writing on the wall. And I really hoped that things would turn around by this time and that we would be able to have the event. And oddly enough, Northern Michigan is somewhat opened right now. We're in phase 4, almost phase 5, because we are kind of a remote region, and there have been very low incidence of infection up here, that things have been opening up more and more. But it wouldn't, I know it was the right thing to cancel. But it has been hard this last week, knowing that most things are kind of going on as normal around here. And, one of the biggest parts of my year is gone, and the biggest parts of a lot of your years is gone, at least for this year. So what I'm going to try to do is hold it together, and we're going to do it again next year. And, I'll make some announcements about that later. But anyway, beyond that, somebody's talking about the Birchwood Courtyard, the great party space. They just kind of allowed us anything. And, unfortunately for any other guests that were staying at the hotel, they had to either get with the party or be pissed off at us. And There was a couple of them that got pissed off at us, but I don't know if any of you remember the year when the Birchwood had become the place for a senior citizens complex as they were remodeling the senior citizens complex. So there was a lot of senior citizens living in the place at the time we were there, and they were so great with us, except for one woman. I don't know if you remember her. There was one really cantankerous lady, and I had to keep apologizing to her because she was going after several of our people for being too loud and what's this all about? And, you know, just didn't get it. It's a thing about Photostock because you kind of got to get it, and most people do. It's a good time. Anyway, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going on here and I'm going to look and see who I've got in the viewership, and I'm going to pull somebody in here. Let's see, just let me go through here. Oh, Mark, here's Mark. Okay, so I'm going immediately to Mark. I'm going to ask Mark in. Mark is from the first year. I got Jerry down at the bottom too, so you guys hanging tight there. So let's go with Mark. Let's hope he comes in. Did I do it right? Yep, waiting for Mark. Are you there, Mark? I'm going to give you just a couple seconds here. You might just be off for a beer or something like that. Okay, so Jerry, you're on deck. We're going to you. All right. Jerry, hope you're ready for this. Maybe I'm not even on. I can see this. Wow, there's 22 people watching. That's pretty cool. Jerry's out there. Jerry's not answering yet. You know, I'm going to go to my go-to man. Okay, well, canceling out Jerry. Let's see. Let's go for someone else. Believe it or not, I just can't keep talking forever. Let's see here. Don Barber. I could do Don, but let's see. Let's see. Nothing with Don. Don will be great, but let's see. I'm looking back for the first year people, and I'm just going to end up going here to a Bill Bresler. So let's see if Bill Bresler will come in here. I know that Bill and Jerry are together today, and they're chasing bees. Jerry Bazerby has a beehive that's done. Oh God, my terminology's gone right now, but it's the hive is moved into Jerry's backyard, and they've got a beekeeper there who's trying to get it, and it's a friend of Bill's. Wow, nobody's answering. Are you guys all shy or what? I'm going to go to Carrick just to give you a little comic relief, even though he was last week. Maybe I'm not doing this right. Could that be? Oh, Jerry just says try again. Okay.
You got me.
Hey, look, I got a haircut. You didn't.
I have not gotten a haircut.
Okay. Hey, man. So I know you weren't at the first thing. Jerry said to try again. I'm going to try him again in a minute. But I'm just bringing you in just so I don't have to keep talking, you know?
Well, no. you wanted like Photostock memories.
Yeah. What was your favorite thing? What can you remember?
I don't know if it was my favorite, but it was certainly memorable when Evan Clark passed out down in the.
Yeah, that's right. I thought he died.
I know. Bill's like, oh shit! I thought we had the first Photostock fatality.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you get enough people together, you know, and you just never know. Holy shit. That's right. I was sitting over and I heard the thunk, and I heard everybody going, oh, and he kind of face planted right into the heating vent. And, you know, anybody that doesn't know Evan, hey, Carol, anybody that doesn't know Evan was, Evan's kind of given up photography, and he's moved down to Columbia right now. And he's a really good guy. But anyway, Evan hit the floor. He had been drinking like we all drink, but Evan used to be a really big guy, and he had lost a lot of weight. I mean, the guy had lost a lot of weight. So the previous amount of alcohol that Evan could handle as opposed to the new alcohol that he could handle was not the same. Anyway, so yeah. I remember running up the stairs to go get 911, and fortunately Jackie Stokin was there, and Jackie's a physician. And Jackie comes up and she says, he's just drunk. He's going to be okay. Everything resumed. Yeah.
It is nice having a doctor in the house.
Oh, that was crazy. Yeah.
So anyway, that's my 2 cents on a Photostock story.
All right, man. Thank you. I'm going to pop out of you, and I don't know how I can do that, but I'll do that, and I'm going to go to Jerry now, all right?
All right. Good seeing you.
Take care. It looks like a beautiful day.
It is.
Oh, man. Okay. See ya. Peace. All right, we're going to go to Jerry now. I hope you guys are having fun. Jerry, I hope you're ready. There he is. Oops, shit. Wrong one. Wait a minute. Excuse my language. Jerry, where'd you go? You were just there. Ugh. Playing hide and seek now. So there he is. Here he comes. All right, Jerry. Phil Bresler. Oh, man. Okay, sorry. You got to check out, man. I would have had you on. I'm sorry. I tried you, but we're trying for Jerry right now. You just got to accept. That's right. Christopher Johnson just came on. I got to talk to Chris. Oh, Jerry declined, it says. Okay, well, I'm going to go to, well, one of the things that was really cool is last year, I think it was, Chris Johnson, who's been coming along with his dad, Ken, for years. And Chris was in Japan at the time, and he video chatted in with us, which was really pretty cool. Let's see. Anyway, okay, I see somebody there that I'd like to get. I see. Zimmerman, are you going to do this? Steve, this is the Photostock Entertainment, if you'll come on. Maybe you'll play a song for us. Zimmy. Come on, buddy. Oh, okay. Steve being shy and retiring? Really? He never retired. Okay, well, I'm going to cancel out Steve, but I've got some great stories of Steve. He did the Ape Huggers song, which if you really look it up, you can find the Ape Huggers song somewhere on YouTube. I'll have to put it into the YouTube channel, but it's he's doing the song Sweet Melissa, and he's improvising the lyrics, and it was Ape Huggers. It was really good stuff. Rimshot, Doom. Yeah, thanks, Colin. Anyway, John Scott says Zimmy equals hoser. Okay, well, let's see. I'm going to go for John Scott right now. John wasn't an early one, but John's been around. He came here all the way from Winnipeg or Flin Flon or wherever the hell it was on the top of the planet. Dude, really? You're gone now? Well, this just isn't working out so much. You know what I'm... Oh, there you are. Gotcha. Oh, it says unable to join. Oh, well, okay. Let's see. I'm going to go to Jamie Young. Jamie, I'm going to put you on. Oh, it says unable to join. I'm getting it now. Okay, there's Zimmy again. Let's try him. Gotcha, brother. Ah, thank you. Thank you. Shit, thank you. I'm just pushing buttons up here and looking like a goofball.
Yeah, you're doing good, man. You're
oh, thanks. It's fun.
Out in your woods, I see, eh?
Yeah, I'm sitting out here on the deck.
Nice.
Yeah, I wish you were here.
Yeah, me too, man. I was looking forward to going this year too. So
I'm seriously missing you all big time. It's a tough one, but you know, well, it is what it is.
It is what.
So hey, what kind of a story have you got? What can you share with us? Oh, I was just telling about the Ape Hugger. Did you hear about Ape Hugger song? You know, when you did Sweet Melissa?
Oh yeah, no. You know, I make up a lot of songs when there's when the occasion arises. I never remember, but everybody always reminds me of them.
Yeah. Well, that one I have video of, and I know it's on YouTube someplace. I just have to find it and bring it on into the fold.
That's funny. We kind of been dealing with the situation here a lot, and been a lot of moving. You know, just really emotional times here, and
yeah, I mean, it's tough. You're for anybody that doesn't know, Steve lives up in Minneapolis, and Minneapolis is the heart of the changing world. And yeah, I know it's got to be really difficult for you. Ike texted me at the beginning of this, and he was just heartbroken. You know,
yeah,
like the first night.
Yeah, he's been dealing with it too, and everybody that's living here kind of has to deal with it. But we got to keep on moving on, make things better as much as we can, right?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing what's come out of this. It's a horrible thing, and I just can't,
Right.
It's still hard to process what I saw. But.
Yeah, there's some hope there that things will change, and I kind of feel it from all, it doesn't matter what group it is around here. I mean, everybody's being really peaceful and.
Yeah, it seems to have tamed down, it seemed a lot of what was going on was, obviously, a lot of emotion. But, it became apparent after a while that it wasn't, there was two different things going on, and I'm glad that the other thing stopped,
Yep.
And,
And my brother's Lieutenant Commander of Homicide, Minneapolis Police. So he's always, he's worked the force for 30 some years, and he's never shot anybody with a knife,
Yeah.
He talks it down,
Yeah, or anybody with a counterfeit $20 bill, Yeah, I understand. I get it. And I know, You know, and I know it's hard because, you know, at this point in life, we know people in this profession, and, you know, I know a lot of great people in this profession, you know. But
yeah.
at the same time, I was telling people the other day about an event I had back when I was a kid where I ran into the other side of it, and it was like, you know, it's like, it's the most earth-shattering thing when you find out that people aren't just there to protect you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. And I talked to my brother about that stuff too. I said, you know, we hire you to protect us and you to be the peace officers, right? I mean, it's pretty simple. It's supposed to be simple, but yeah, he says a lot of things changed when all the cops came from the suburbs. He said they used to require that you live in Minneapolis and be part of it.
And that's how Detroit was, and I'm not sure if Detroit is still that way.
Yeah, right. So anyways, that's
well, enough of that. But, you know,
well,
not enough of that. Keep going on that, but enough of that here is, you know, you've always been such a powerhouse at the events with your guitar, and it's like I always hesitate, you know, ever having kind of any entertainment there because
I've been writing some songs with the current events. So I got the COVID song, I got the, you know, George Floyd song, and I'm starting to listen. I goes, you know, they just sound too much like a Dylan song. I just like switch the chords out. It could be a Dylan song, you know.
Okay, well, here,
so
I hope you don't mind me. You're saying this. And I don't think it's true, but you claim it's not true. But you notice the last name of Steve here, and you notice how Steve looks and how he sounds. I swear you are the long lost brother Bob. You know.
You never know, right?
Yeah, you never know, right? Yeah, you know, you live in the same state. Holy shit, you know. I mean, I don't know.
If he would just recognize that, you know, I wouldn't have to go work no more. You know?
Yeah, you can't be Jacob, I guess, but.
I can do what I do, you know. I took out my old Nikons, you know, my FM2, my F4. I went down to Lake Street and shot the carnage, and then the next day, Dawn and I, my wife, we went down to the spot, you know, and it's just like, holy shit, man.
Yeah, it's quite a thing.
It was hard to shoot at first, but eventually I got going.
You know, we had a similar event here in you know, the building where it happened is gone, 23rd Street, I think it was 24th Street and Michigan Avenue or Warren in Detroit. Right. But we had the Malice Green event in Detroit, and it was back in the 80s when two police, it was a very similar event with a police flashlight just beat the man to death, and it became
that's so hard, man.
Had that happened then, it would have been exactly what it is now. But now with the internet being what it is, I mean, I'm hoping that this is now this. This is this.
It's different now. It's different.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Feel that's different. So
I can't watch any more of that, and I don't think anybody else can either.
No,
you know.
I hear you, man. So how's everything up in the woods there?
It's going good. I've been doing this little video thing every week. You know, that's been fun. And I started up the YouTube channel, which I hope people will watch. And I've been doing some things with alt processes on that. And I'm having a good time with it. But I really wish you were all here. It certainly doesn't match that. You know, I mean,
we got the,
you know, like I say, it's like right now, it's like I don't sleep for 4 days and everything is happening here. And there's so many people and so many hugs and so many everything. And it's just.
Well, that's what I always loved about Photostock, too. It's like, people I never met after 3 or 4 days, man, it's like they're your best friend, you know?
Yeah. And that's another thing that I probably should have gotten to is that the relationships that have grown out of this and the projects that have grown out of this, you know, and it's nothing that I could ever take credit for. I just make the scene. I throw it together. But the fact that everybody makes what it is, it's just incredible, you know? I remember those first years we started out and there were just people with loose prints and not with any confidence or anything like that. And then the next year they would up the ante, and now you know what it is. You know, we have the viewing room and there's beautiful portfolios and people have worked their whole year on it. It's just something else, you know.
And there are a lot of, I mean, the photographers, there's so many good photographers.
I know.
It was a mind blower. It's like, holy crap, man.
Catalyst. Carrick says Catalyst. Yeah, I like doing that, you know. I mean, I always kind of thought
it was Catalyst,
that I wanted to do something like that. And Photostock was the kind of, just like the event, the concert event. I wanted to bring the best minds together once a year just to play their ass off, you know, and have a good time.
And that other Michigan boy, Ike, you know, I mean, him and Andy and Thomas, you know.
Oh man, you know,
like what a great group of guys, man.
It's incredible, and it just goes on, you know. And then the Ohio groups, the John Powers and Dorothy Cross, and I'm really sorry for the people that I don't mention because my brain's just that way, you know.
Well,
I mean,
you got the Canucks up there. You know, you got John Scott.
John Scott, yeah, we've had Jennifer Crane down here. We've had you know, Alex from Toronto, and Bob Carney. How could I forget Bob Carney?
Bob
You know,
Carney.
my house, which is right
He's
over there, when it was just, pardon me?
Bob
Yeah.
Carney, man, he can print, man. That dude.
Oh man, he's great. Yeah, he's my another brother from another mother. Kind of. That guy, but in our house, I remember when the house was still sticks basically, and Bob came to do one, and he did this talk in the house, and it was a big rainy night, and we had everybody in the house, packed in the house with their things, and it was like, I think about that every once in a while when I'm walking down the stairs, and I think, God, there was like so many people in this room watching Bob.
It was a great setup, man.
It was fun, and then the thing was, I remember afterward there was so much dirt in the house from the mud that I was like literally shoveling stuff out of the house. So, you know, I mean, that's kind of how this event has gone. It's, you know, we've had, you know, Sandy King doing carbon printing in the house when it was just sticks, and Carrick and Ike did a gum over workshop in here when it was nothing, you know. And
I got a photo of Sandy King walking into your house to go to the darkroom part there, and I think it was I can't remember what South Side, whatever, I don't remember. But he's peering out, and he's all grainy and everything, and he's like, I caught him, you know, just going into the dark rooms. It was pretty funny. Yeah. I should share that with you sometime. He was
a funny guy because he, you know, I got this, you know, we always had this kind of love-hated relationship, Sandy and I, which was great. But, you know, the thing was, I would always feel terrible about a fight we would get into. And I remember being on this panel in Toronto at one time where I met a lot of people, you know, but and I was just terrified of seeing Sandy because we'd had this huge falling out, you know, and so I get there and Sandy's sitting there, and I go up and I said to him, I said, man, it's really good to see you, and you know, I'm really sorry, you know, it's really good to talk to you, just to talk to you face to face and not go through this. And he goes, what for? What, you know, he's just like, that's his life. That's how he works with everybody. You know what I mean?
What issue?
Yeah, what issue? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm kind of the same way, Bill. It's like, wake something up, it's like, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
And my other famous thing that comes from Sandy is like, he sent me this whole list of everything he needed, you know, and I got everything he needed. And it was a ton, you know, to do a carbon printing workshop in the middle of the woods. It was a ton of stuff. Oh yeah. I get it done. And the whole weekend he had me jumping to get new stuff. But I said, well, that wasn't on the list. He goes, I know it wasn't on the list, but I told you. And it was like, no, you didn't tell me. What are you talking about? So yeah, that was the year that my back blew out, you know.
He's still alive? Or?
Pardon me? Oh yeah, Sandy's around. I haven't spoken with him in quite some time, but I've definitely sent people in his direction and stuff, and I know that he's out there. Read
his, you know, his work online a lot, and just every time I read it, I get something different from it, you know. So
he deserves everything he's got, you know. I mean, he but I also did this one thing for Bob, you know. It was called the Brits versus the Yanks workshop up in Northern Ontario, and it was me, Bob Carney. Oh God, Joe Cornish. That was really cool. Joe Cornish and Les McLean. Remember Les? I don't know what happened to Les. If anybody knows what happens to Les, tell me. But Les, and so it turned into the Lord of the Flies workshop, is what I called it. But anyway, it was Sandy. Sandy was one of those guys, and it was like we were taking everybody out, rain or shine, you know. And he's got a group and whatever, and it was just really, you know, he and I were always just going at it. But you know, I love the guy. That's the kind of thing. It's that sort of relationship. Well, but anyway, I really thank you for coming on. I'm going to pop out here. I got only 20 more minutes here. So
you can talk to someone else. Do I just hit the X? I've never done a...
Yeah, you just hit the X. I'll hit the X, and then you can go from there, all right?
Peace, bro.
Thanks. Take care. Peace. Thank you, man. And take care up there, all right?
All right.
All righty. Bye-bye. Hey, you guys. So who else is willing to go live? I'm just going to look for a thing. Yeah, Les was cool. Yeah, Les, there's stories I could tell you forever. I got some good Les stories too. Yeah, Les was one of those guys that would. One time I was doing a workshop at Bob's place, and it was Les and I doing it, and he would put me on the spot, and he would ask me a question in front of all these people. You know, he'd ask me this question. It was a question that I could answer correctly, and I would answer the question that I thought correctly, and he would go, "Wrong, laddie," and so he would proceed on telling me why I was wrong, and then he would ask me another question. I would tell him the answer, and he would go, "Wrong, laddie." And then he would go on telling everybody what was right. And it was just kind of like one of those things, to the point where he finally asked me a question. I said, I'm not answering you. Bite me. Anyway, so there you go. I could say that to Les. He would know that. Anyway, so yeah, Les was more. Let's see here. I've still got 23 people in, and I'm going to try to find somebody else to join in. And let's see. Did Les jump in? I see somebody said, hey, Les. Oh man, hi you guys. Hi John. Let's see. I brought Colin with me. Sorry. Let's see. I'm going to jump in with you guys then. I'm going to try John again. I don't know how I do that. Let me try. Wow, this is cool. Let's see. I'll just try. Where'd you go? There he is. Oh, it says unable to join. I'm going to try then Colin because it says that he said the Colin's with him. Ooh, we'll go for our Canadian brethren here. Colin. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm, you'd think I know how to do this by now. All right. I'm waiting for Colin Cornell. I don't even know if I'm spelling that right. Oh, he's popping it. So John's not really with you, right?
No, I don't see what the big deal is.
I saw that. That's right. You guys came down from Canada. I had forgotten to mention.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I need to see some light on you. Go to a window.
Yeah, sorry. How's this?
How you doing?
Better? I'm good. It's nice to see you. I'd love.
Oh, nice to see you. Let me introduce you, everybody. This is Colin. Colin's a really great photographer up in Winnipeg, and he does a thing called Winnipeg Diary on Instagram that all of you should check into. And you consistently amaze me, young man. It's pretty amazing how you pull up all that stuff. Living in Winnipeg of all places, right?
Well,
I'm just kidding.
that's a fair point, but it's a quirky. It's just isolated enough that there's interesting stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I'm shiftless and lazy enough that I have time to go out and look for it. So it matches up nicely. So
you do a great job, and it's like, I know I've been pulling out from my archives and trying to pull good stuff out. You pull stuff out of every day that is really pretty amazing. So,
well,
but anyway, I thought I'd bring you on. You've been to Photostock. If you've got any photo, I remember the summer that you guys came down. You drove all the way from Winnipeg, and it was pretty kind of an ordeal, as I guess. It was just a long way. A lot of roads with trees on the sides just flying by constantly.
It was an ordeal because I was sitting beside John Scott the whole time.
There you go, John. I'm hoping he's still on seeing that or hearing that.
John's really good people, and I owe him a big debt of gratitude for he was sort of the one that kind of introduced me to you guys and what was going on there. And
he's just saying you need to do a book. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I know. I do. I don't have the slightest idea where to start to do that, but I agree. It would be really fun to do,
Yeah, I know it's hard. You throw stuff at people, say you should do a book, and it's like they don't realize making a book is really not only a big expense, but a big life drain. It really takes a lot out of you to do it, just like any kind of a project, I suppose. But
I think anything that's worth doing is going to be
exactly
hard, a lot of work. So that's a sign right there that it's probably worth doing.
Yeah.
It's a big, it looks like a big climb up a mountain or something. So,
but when you're there, it feels so good. Like, this thing, that Kickstarter was 2 years of my life. 2 solid, crazy years of my life. But now I'm sitting on the porch and I'm talking to you and it's fun. And, 23 people are watching and more will watch.
Yeah, well, you've got a lot of friends all over. That's for sure.
It's fun.
It was a window into a much bigger world when I first got to know you through APUG and then meeting you guys in person through Photostock. Much as I hate to give John credit for anything, he sort of helped make that happen. So it was, and that's the thing. Like we were both, actually, John and I at that time were both living in a small place called Brandon, about 2 hours west of Winnipeg, and it was kind of the back and beyond sort of place and everything else. So it was, it was really, it was a bit of a lifeline having a connection to a bigger world and a wider world of creativity.
Well, I have to say the same for me because I have this affinity with Canada that, I live, so many, my whole life I've grown up like within miles of the border, in Detroit. I was actually the only American city south of north of Canada. But even up here, Sault Ste. Marie, and I don't know, I think Michiganders are we always got your TV, we always got everything. I just have this thing with Canada and just having you guys up there and all these people across that big, great place up there that I love and like to hang out with, in Toronto, second home now it feels like. And
it's a good
I'm so glad that you tuned in. So glad you tuned in.
Yeah, no, I try to make a habit of it every week because it's always interesting, and I really I like that you're doing this. It's there's a lot of good stuff to come from this weird time we're living in, And
Yeah.
this is one of them. Like, I think a lot of photographers talk about doing this kind of stuff, and you actually did it. So,
Well, it's just because, yeah, I don't know. Anybody that knows me knows that I just, I just
like
kind of go
Photostock.
for it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
you just go for it. To me, it's sort of like, you just throw a bunch of shit out there and something catches at some point, and like
Amen.
fishing in a way. But
Amen.
yeah, but I love doing it. And the thing is I love doing it because I love seeing other people shine. There's so much about other, I mean, it's a really hard business to do something in. So many people I remember back in the day, like you would try to, they would be embarrassed to even think of showing other people their work, that kind of a thing. And, that's just a really hard thing to get over for people. And that's what's been really fun, to break people out of their mold. Like, I hope she doesn't mind me mentioning this, but I saw Marianne on earlier, Marianne Priest, and Marianne was like that for the first like 4 or 5 years. She would say, I don't think, she just kind of wasn't feeling great about coming. But then Marianne ends up being like one of the, holy crap, she's awesome. You know what I mean? And
You shouldn't be shy about showing your work, actually. She's got
yeah,
distinctive work that she does.
oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But you understand that about people. And so what I really like about this is providing this kind of environment that's safe for people. There's Marianne. Hi, Marianne. That a place to provide an environment that's safe. APUG wasn't always the safest place because, you could always get, you'd always run into things. But that's it. I'm just really honored that you've all like tapped into all this and made the best of it. I mean, I can just go on. Danielle, I saw her on, and, Silke and Jeff and Eva and all these people that have come into this, that have made it kind of what it is. It's just an amazing thing. So yeah, thanks. I just like starting to do things, and
yeah.
plus it's boring out here. I mean, I won't say it's boring, but I live in the middle of the woods, middle of the woods in the wintertime is really isolated, but during a pandemic, holy crap, you're really out in the middle of nowhere,
When the
so
zombies come, who's going to be laughing then, right?
Yeah, exactly. I've got all the ammunition and guns in the workshop. You just, I know, it's just, it is what it is. Yeah, you'll know where to come. Actually, I know a few people up here where I'm going to go if the shit really hits the fan, because they're much more prepared than I am.
I'm also grateful to Photostock because Andrew Madsen took, to this date, even all these years later, I hate photos of myself, but he took one that I actually kind of like.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Oh, that is an incredible one. He did so many people that year.
Oh, man.
And here we'll talk about Andrew. Andrew sort of became the portraiture guy of the place. He's done some beautiful things over the last few years.
Yeah, he's something else. Man.
I can't thank you enough for joining me and saying some things. It was really great. It's really good to see you.
My pleasure. So, like Zimmy said, just hit the X, right?
Yeah, you just hit the X. You're aging well. You look great. I haven't seen you in a few years.
That's completely false, but I thank you for saying it anyway.
No, you look good. It's good to see you, and I keep watching. I'm a big fan, so I'll keep watching.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Take care.
Likewise. Take care.
Bye-bye. Thanks. Bye. Well, hey, folks. We're getting on kind of down to the end. I think I've got about 12 minutes left here. Chris Faust, yeah. Still listening. Chris Faust. Oh, you all make everyone. Oh, thanks, Marianne. That's really nice of you to say. Not putting out here fishing, but let's see. Yeah, you never know what will happen until you put your work out there. Mark says. I'm gonna maybe try to get one more person in here. Maybe I'll try for Mark. Mark would be a good one because I have something of his sitting next to me. We'll try Mark, and then I've got to kind of wrap up quick because I don't want to have to piece two shows together and have you guys lose you guys. So, it's kind of crazy to condense Photostock into an hour, but it's better than nothing. Maybe we'll continue it another time. I'm waiting for MFO photos. There we are. We're connecting. Hey, Mark. Oh, how you doing, dude?
How you doing?
It's good to see you. You look great.
You hear
I
me?
saw you got a haircut. You look good.
Yeah, look at all that.
Woohoo! Yeah. Hey, I got this. I want to show this. I don't know if it looks backwards to me, but this is, Mark's been doing this. This is your second edition now?
Second one, yeah.
Yeah, Monochrome Mania. And it's just a lot of photographs of Mark's and stuff, but there's some verbiage in here and some other things. And, how can we get this? I tried to link to it one time and I couldn't do it. For some reason, it wouldn't allow me to link.
Let me turn this up a little bit, I guess.
What I'll do is I'll put a link. You can tell me even later, and I'll put a link in the YouTube video when it comes up. But that would be the good thing to do. But anyway, it's really nice. And I got to thank you for sending me one every time. You know, I love going to the mailbox and finding this stuff.
I'm glad you like it.
Everybody, I love getting books, you know, and I always put them up online if I get them. So I should put up the address someday. But yeah, this is really nice. But anyway, Mark, you kind of came in a little later, not too much later. You were pretty much at the beginning of stuff. So I just wondered if, like, kind of, I hate to do this quickly, but if you could just kind of share one of your times here, something that you really, really like. You got anything that stands out?
Oh, I think there were a lot of great times up there. And I think my first visit, Mark Ekman and I both came up together.
Oh,
We drove
Mark.
separately, but we met up there.
Yeah.
And I think he slept in a I don't know if he slept. I guess he was in a tent, and I was in a tent, and you know we're in the woods there behind your A-frame and all that, and I didn't know what the hell to expect. I really didn't.
Yeah.
What have I gotten myself into? And I didn't even hear any banjos, but
No.
but it was fun, and met some great people, and I think that the year I think Jamie was doing all the the circuit camera stuff.
Yeah. Jamie's done that a few years.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah,
of fun.
he's always been a good one. And I should get Jamie on as a guest at some point. I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah.
It'd be a really good idea. Well, it looks like life's going good down there. You know, you guys got the beautiful, you know, it's looking like behind me out here, you know, you're up in the woods.
I wouldn't say we're in the woods, but we feel we're close to things, but we don't feel like we're next to anything.
Yeah. Now, Mark, for everybody that doesn't know, has moved down to Asheville, North Carolina, and down where Clay Harmon is. Have you and Clay been able to get together yet?
Not yet. We have a mutual contact, Susan Patrice, who runs is doing a lot of work down here in Maker's Circle, I think. And so she's been, you know, saying we'll get together one of these days, but of course this COVID thing has intervened.
Yeah.
What's funny when you mentioned Canada, this is the furthest I've ever lived from Canada in my whole life.
Yeah, that's right.
Seeing the St. Lawrence Seaway from my backyard, and then of course, you know, Syracuse, and then living in Ann Arbor was.
Ann Arbor, yeah, all those years, yeah.
So yeah, it's the farthest away I've been to Canada.
I have to say we miss you up in Michigan, but it's nice to see you. And I'm going to get down there one of these days. Don't worry about it.
Well, you're welcome to visit anytime.
All right, I'd love to. Well, hey, I'm going to go out. I don't mean to cut you short. I know I kind of gave people a lot of time, but you know, an hour flies. It's crazy. I got 8 minutes left. Yeah. But I thank you, and I thank you for all the years of coming around, and I really hope that you'll be able to come back up.
Okay.
All right? All right, man. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
You too.
Well, let's see. We're talking about Marianne, and I know Marianne's there. Would Marianne want to come on? I'm just going to give her a real quick shot to see if Marianne would come on, because I haven't had any women on. And that was one of the big things about Photostock, is it used to be too many guys. And Marianne was one of the first women that started being brave enough to join us. And there she is. Let's try Marianne. I know I'm putting her on the spot right now, and if she doesn't answer, I understand completely. Maybe not. But got to check out Marianne Priest's work. I've actually done a book with Marianne through Northlight Press. We did a book, Longing. It's a beautiful book. And, you know, there's the whole other story with Marianne that we could go with. But anyway, okay, so Marianne declined. Let's see. I don't know if there's anybody else here. Otherwise, I'll do kind of a quick wrap up, because I do not want to go overtime again. Hi, Kevin Donaldson. Kevin Donaldson is watching. Not necessarily a photographer, but he does nice pictures, and he was a great diver when we were in. I've known Kevin since I was in junior high. He saved me. I used to eat lunch with him a lot when I got kicked out of the lunchroom. That's a whole other story. I'm going to try Jamie. One more time on Jamie. And we'll see if he joins in. And if he doesn't join in, that's okay. He might not be still watching. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it does matter. It'd be nice to talk to Jamie. Sorry, you guys. I probably should have been a little bit more organized for this tonight. But, you know, I got 5 minutes left to talk about what's happened over here over the last 15 years or so. And I just want to tell you that I'm committed to keeping this going. With any luck, next year this will be just a bad part of our history, and partially a good part of our history, and we'll be back to normal, and we'll do it again. you know, I really in the future would be really nice to get some people on board. I know I'm not the best manager in the world, but it would be really nice to get some other people and maybe delegate a little bit of the stuff out. But, you know, I know because I run it by the seat of my pants so often that that's not always possible. So, but anyway, you know, we'll talk about this over the next year and we'll try to get it together for next year. And, you know, I'm really sorry that you're all not here right now. It would have been great to see everyone. And, you know, I'm going through some serious withdrawal, not having you all here. You know, it's just like, this is part of my life now, and now it's not. But, you know, I'm sure you all feel the same way, and I'm hoping you're all happy and healthy, and I'm hoping that you're all doing something creative. I know it's been hard to do that over the last few months, even though, you know, we have all this time to ourselves. It's just been kind of a terrifying time, or a very tumultuous time, and politically tumultuous. And, you know, let's not get into that crap, but it's just been kind of, you know, I was used to hear stories from my parents about living through World War II and the Depression. I think, you know, World War II, maybe not, but on the Depression, I think we got them on that one. You know, I mean, this has been a pretty odd time. But anyway, people, I can't thank you enough for joining me tonight. I hope that you've had a good time. I wish that I could have gone a little bit further. The next time I do one of these where I invite guests on, I'll try to get a hold of you ahead of time and try to arrange it. We'll see how that goes. And I don't know if anybody's got any closing comments that they want to put down here in the bottom. Let's see. Missed 2 years in a row, says Chris. Guess my camera was not enabled. Sorry. Oh, maybe I can try again. You want me to try you again for like 4 minutes, Marianne? I could give you just one more quick try, and just to be nice and say hi to you, because I haven't seen you in a while. I drove by the other day. Let's see. One more time, but if not, that's cool. Oh, it's connecting. Ah, Marianne, you look so fantastic.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, it's so good to see you.
I didn't have anything enabled, I guess. I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. You know, I put you on the spot like this, and I thank you for pulling it out. You know, and we have only got like 4 minutes to pull this off, but how about you tell me your favorite thing from Photostock, and then that'll help close it out.
Well, my favorite thing was just being there the first time. The second year you did it, you encouraged me to come, and I did, and I was so nervous. And I parked out on the road and walked down that path all by myself. I was scared to death. And there you guys were. I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 of you. And it was just like being home. Everybody was so kind and so welcoming, and it was wonderful. It was just wonderful.
Oh man, and we have loved you over the years. You've been so great, and you've shared such incredible stuff with us. I mean, you know, I'm sorry, but just to mention Tom, you know, I mean, that was such an honor having him come. I'm sorry, but that, you know, you've been such a big part of this, and I want you to know that.
Thank you.
To know that.
Yeah, well, I have felt it's like family, you know.
Yeah.
And
I feel the same way about you.
Yeah, that's why Tom wanted to go and see it all.
Yeah. That was, I tell you, it's like, honestly, one of the top things in my life was that time. Oh gosh. Wow. It was very special. It was very special. Yeah, I'm sorry. You know, we won't go into that now, but it was very special. No. We've been in contact, and we did the book and stuff. So
yeah.
Anybody that's interested, though, you should check into northlightpress.com, and Marianne's got a book in there that's just fabulous, and there are still copies of it available. And I don't mean to do that, but you know, you are really doing some cool stuff lately. The stuff you've been doing with your cyanotypes and the
that's just so much fun. It's so addicting.
You're good.
And it's cheap, and it doesn't require a lot of time in a dark room. So
well, you know what I'm going to do, Marianne, is at the end of this, once I suss it all through, when it goes over to YouTube, I'm going to put links into different stuff, and I'm going to include you and some of your stuff in the links there, and your, you know, a way to find you on Instagram and stuff. Okay.
All right, that's cool.
I'll do that.
That would be great, Bill.
I hate to cut you off so quick, but I'm going to go here because I don't want it to cut off.
Believe me, it's fine. It's fine.
All right, we love you, Marianne.
Bill.
Thank you for coming. Take care. Bye-bye.
The X.
All right, X. Yes. Take care. See you soon, hopefully. All right, you guys, that's about it. I think I'm going to have to cut out there. I can't thank you enough for coming to this. It's really means a lot. So anyway, you guys, take care of yourselves. I'm going to push end here because I don't want to get cut off. All right, take care, you guys. Bye-bye. I miss you all.